How are you spending your Friday nights? Toasting your own marshmallows? Fire pit need rekindling? Come on, join us every Friday night at the Fire Pit, where our conversation really heats up.
This is David Poag. You are watching Fire Pit Friday.
Hey everybody, it's Cece. Fire Pit Friday once again. This is a great time of year, summertime. It's hot. Of course, all of our guests are hot. But you know what? Tonight, I've got David Poag sitting next to us. Now, David Poag, filmmaker, director, producer. Yeah, this summer, Fire Pit Friday is concentrating on the filmmaker in Nashville, Tennessee, and we have David right next to us. So you are a pretty cool guy. I mean, I've read your resume and everything. You as a person, you're very cool, but you've got a lot going on, and I wanted to ask you a couple questions about your filmmaking career, and you started out in MTSU,
yes,
which is a school here in Tennessee for anybody who's, you know, tuning in from out of town. And do you normally, when you think of MTSU, do you normally think of filmmaking? Is it something that comes to mind?
I mean, their program is much more broadcast-based. You know, they have a really good recording program and television program. Filmmaking is pretty light there. They do have some filmmaking courses, but it's not their focus.
Seeing your resume, oh my gosh, you're such an inspiration. You've taken your filmmaking career, your college education, applied it, but taken it to a whole new level. And you were working in the movie industry while you were in college. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. I got my first PA job, production assistant job, on a feature film that was from out of town that happened to be filming in Columbia, Tennessee, which is about an hour south of here. It's my hometown. And it was called Daltrey Calhoun, had Johnny Knoxville and Juliette Lewis, and was a low budget but still a studio feature. And that was my first job, and getting on that was very lucky, but allowed me to really meet a lot of the, you know, it was a lot of outside, a lot of the above the line was from out of town, but a lot of the crew was local, so that was kind of my first chance to meet a lot of the local people in the industry here, and kind of, you know, most of my production work has been based off of people, or at least branched out from people I met on that first job.
And Quentin Tarantino to be a PA, you know, it's pretty huge.
It was fun, yeah. He was the executive producer on that, and was only on set for about a week, but I did get to meet him and be around him some.
Now, is your family into filmmaking? Does your family do any filmmaking?
Not necessarily. Both my parents are artists in some way, and they've always encouraged any kind of creative pursuit growing up, you know, and I was playing with cameras, you know, I guess as a young lad some, and they are always very enthusiastic about that.
And they sound like they're very supportive of your career.
Yeah, definitely super supportive. That's been
important.
A big part of it. I've got friends that, you know, their parents still don't take it seriously as a career, and that's a big hang up for them, you know. So it's nice to have parents that are supportive. I owe many things to my mother, and I'm usually been very embarrassed by her, but she's notoriously gets in there, whatever's going on. She's in the middle of it.
Oh, she's like a flying wedge.
Really?
Yeah,
she said awesome. She was at a coffee shop when
there was
people talking about the film coming in?
Right, like I said, it was at my hometown, and they were scouting the location, and she, you know, could probably see that they were from out of town, asked what they were doing, and when she was, you know, she met them and said that I was into that, because at that point I'd made I think I'd made a couple of short films and was definitely getting into it.
You were into claymation at that time, right?
Oh, that was younger.
Was that way younger?
Yeah.
See,
I mean, as far as when I was younger, I wanted to be a an artist or a cartoonist. I was always drawing. But when I was about 11, we got our first video camera, and I started playing with it, and at some point got first editing software and started putting stuff together. So that all started very early with like clay animation, and I would make movies for my little cousins with their toys. I would steal their toys from them a few months before Christmas and make a stop animation movie, and then for Christmas I'd give them their toys back that they'd forgotten about and the movie. So.
Oh, that's clever.
So I was always playing with that. I made my first short film my freshman year in college. My first scripted, I'd never done anything. I'd never tried to do any kind of scripted thing with actors until then.
When you say you made the movie, take us through the steps. What exactly did you do?
A guy just down the hall in the dorm room, freshman year, he had seen me, I think he'd seen me editing something, or he saw me with a camera, and he goes, "Hey, there's a student film contest, let's make a movie." He kind of had like an idea for a movie. He had this opening scene, and so we kind of brainstormed and came up with a story together. I think I wrote the script, but and then we shot it together. We both had video cameras and edited, and it was had no idea what we were doing.
And what happened to it? What was the final result of that?
Oh, it won the MTSU Film Festival that year, which was kind of crazy, but
and it was an idea.
I think that really was like, yeah, this is fun,
Yeah, I would say. Was that encouragement for you to just keep going?
Yeah, definitely learn more. Wow, this is really cool. I need to, figure out what I'm doing, and and I feel like each short film after that has been a big jump as far as production value and knowing a little bit more.
Okay, so now you've got 2 under your belt, and you've got a PA position that is with a major motion picture, and then you kind of go on to this little thing called the hayfield. What was that all about?
The writer and director of this feature film is from Nashville, and the shoot was to take place in Idaho, but their first 2 days of shooting were in Knoxville, in Tennessee. And the director was looking for an extra camera and ended up at Ryan's TVC.
When I still worked at the rental house.
When Ryan worked at the rental house, and met Ryan and needed two cameras and 2 camera operators. So Ryan was a camera operator, and Ryan gave him my name, and he called me up to be a camera operator. So we worked that weekend. It went fine. It was good, and then just shook hands and left. But a week later, the director called me up and asked me if I'd like to be the director of photography for the rest of the thing in Idaho.
Wow!
So it was pretty. At that point, it was pretty huge. Pretty huge, yeah.
So kudos to Mr. Ryan Hamblin, everybody. Everybody knows Ryan from the previous episode on Fire Pit Friday. Yeah, this is a question for the both of you. Now you're in Tennessee. Now you're making movies in Tennessee. It doesn't usually happen that way. You don't usually hear that going on in Tennessee. It's more small budget thing. These are major things going on. How do you guys see the future for Tennessee, filmmaking in Tennessee?
Things are definitely starting to grow here, and I see it as we all got to be really careful and aware to not try to be the big dogs and be the in the spotlight. And I think we all need to work together and be a good production community instead of trying to be famous and whatnot. We need to put out good products so that we're a different market than LA and New York, and we're putting out a different product, and it's not maybe it's better, maybe it's just different. It's not comparable. It's a whole new way of making films or music or whatever it is that people are coming in here for. We need to do things differently. And
lately, I think more and more outside productions are coming in, like Ryan said. We're getting more features per year than we've had in a while, which is great as far as the amount of work that's available to all the local people in the industry. But what I like about here is that there is a lot of local people. We have everything we need here to make movies. And the people are here, and passionate people and talented people, and that's exciting to me, as I feel like, making enough friends in a smaller community like this, you could possibly get one of your films made, professionally. And it's not like you're just one of the thousands of people knocking on doors in one of the bigger cities. Like we have a lot of people shoot here from the bigger cities, and that's good for work. But the fact that we do have everything here to make movies is exciting for the future. We should be making.
You know what
our
I really
own,
think it is, David, and only because I'm from New York,
Mhm.
and I think there's a fear with production that there's a lack of sophistication here.
Mhm.
That's what the problem is. They think that it's hillbillyville here.
Exactly.
Like I tell people in New York, what do you think? People all have a foot-long beard and no teeth here?
It's
In fact,
true though.
the man that lived in the refrigerator box in front of my house in New York had a foot-long beard and no teeth.
Yeah.
You know, so the fear that there's not the sophistication to make the kind of movies that are going to make money for
Mhm.
Hollywood, that's what keeps people away. Now, I mean, since I've been here, you know, and I've met you, I know that the capability is here, and I know the talent's here.
I see that happening now with, we won't talk a lot about it, but your project that you're working on presently for
Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana. I can see that that is what Cynthia's saying. You're proving yourself. And so you're setting the bar, if that makes any sense. For other people, we're looking at that as, at Fire Pit Friday, we're looking at you as the next big thing.
You have one company or a couple companies that try to be the big dog, and they try to take on all the work. And so within that, they just start pumping out mediocre stuff because it's the same formula. And they just pump it out because it's safe, it worked, and they just do that with all their jobs. And
There's a
then
lot
it's
of
like
that.
they're a one-trick pony. This is all these people can do. They see it everywhere else, so they do it, and then they're done.
Right.
And nobody takes risk. And I think it's up to the younger people and the smaller companies to take the risks and not worry about the money so much, and just make films that you want to see and do things that you really want to watch. And everything else will fall in place after that, but you really have to put out a good product that you're happy with and you want to enjoy. Other people will enjoy it.
I heard something from a producer in LA recently, actually, you and I both heard it. Fresh. They're looking for fresh because they're coming here and they're seeing that people are stepping out of the box and they are giving a new little twist on something that's been around for a long, long time.
It's a short film I shot back in September of my senior year, and then finally finished it maybe in January, after I've graduated. And the Houston Film Festival was one of the first festivals I entered it into.
Now, just for those who don't know, the Houston Film Festival is where people like the Coen brothers got their start. A lot of short film makers who went on to become big deals.
It's a pretty, it's a pretty prestigious festival, and it's. I think this year they had 1,400 short film entries from all over the world. So when I got the letter that I'd been accepted, that was pretty huge. I think 75 short films got in. So that was really exciting, and then it ended up in its category, which is dramatic short film original. It got a gold award, which is second.
Wow,
Well,
bravo.
there's platinum, gold, bronze, and silver. So, blown away. I had I definitely wasn't expecting anything like
We should
that. So it was
talk about
very,
that. Let's
very
talk about
fun.
the development of that particular piece.
Okay.
Also mention where it was being played just 2 weeks ago.
The Cannes Short Film Festival, which is a new thing. There's Cannes, that's been around. It's one of the oldest ones. It's one of the most prestigious ones. And then the Cannes Short Film Festival, which is about 5 years old. It's a part of Cannes. It shows at the same time. It's a section of the festival, but it did show there. It's a simple kind of abstract short film. It's about a painter named Jack. He's an artist. One morning, a strange man comes to his door and tells him the apocalypse is coming, and he's got to get ready for it. Got to be play a big part in it or whatever. And then it kind of goes from there. And it's a short film. I don't want to give away the twist or the plot or anything.
But it's
a little bit different though. It's definitely and it's southern. The characters are very southern, the locations are southern, which that's another thing I wanted to talk about when you were saying of the outside perspective of the South is something I'm not a fan of, because I like the South and I think there's just as much, if not more, character and
Let's talk about, as filmmakers in town, getting the talent in order to make your dreams come true. How's the talent in Tennessee, you guys? How's it working for you?
Talent is great. I think we have everything here that we need to make a professional production.
Excellent.
By far,
Excellent.
I mean, wouldn't you say the same thing?
I agree. I mean, I don't see why there aren't more films being made here, other than just the stigma of the South. And
Yeah.
hopefully, people like us are changing that, or working to change that.
This is great because this is important for people who are just tuning in to kind of understand what's going on in the film industry and how can I make it in the film industry, and if I have a message, how do I deliver it? Are you saying that I want your wisdom? I want your wisdom of you've been there, done that, you've done all of these things, you've worked with major people in the motion picture industry. Mm-hmm. What kind of future is there out there? What is out there for people like Ryan? What is out there for people like David?
You know what, Cece, and really honestly, because all of us here are artists. Jim, everybody, we're artists. Mm-hmm. And we're creative people. Mm-hmm. You have to have a creative outlet. Creative people never stop creating. Mm-hmm. Whether you can ever benefit from it financially, whether you want to benefit from it financially. Mm-hmm. I've been in the movie business since I'm young. It's always been the part of the movie business that I've been in is about making money. Mm-hmm. And if you cannot make money for the studios, you will not work. It does not matter how talented. There's a gazillion talented directors and writers out there that don't work because they don't make them money. Mm-hmm. You know, now, I'm not trying to throw water on, because if there are people like the Coen brothers, that do these kind of films where it's their message. Mm-hmm. It's what they want to say. Mm-hmm. But they also make money. Mm-hmm.
So again, I guess we just keep going back to this whole, what is your level of success? Mm-hmm. So basically at this point, is that the most important thing to you guys? Probably, I'm thinking because of your messages, what you're saying, and your age group, that it's not. But will it be in another 10 years if you're still not going to the next level? It's something to think about. But I would hate to have a machine churning out when there's so much creativity and freedom to do what you want to do without making that big dollar. Because you can, the reputation in Hollywood, you have to keep some sort of reputation in Hollywood.
I have my own things that I want to do and very passionate about, and try to, do that as much as I can. But I'm also, this is how I make my living, and the other aspect is working just in the professional film industry as a PA, as a camera operator, as working as crew on bigger shoots where I don't have any creative input or very little. Mm-hmm. But that's how I make money.
Right.
So and I still enjoy both. I think everybody gets to a point when you really want to do both that you get a little too jaded to really enjoy yourself working. Mm-hmm. If you've been a PA for 10 years, you're probably going to be sick of it. But I still enjoy working on any film production, and feel like I'm always going to be learning stuff, even if it's on the most commercial, generic thing. It's
Can
good
you
to be
name
there
Can
and
you
be
name your
learning
most
things.
educational experience so far? Anything that you've worked on, and I know it goes for pages and pages. But is there anything as far as your favorite? What was maybe the most?
One of my favorite shoots that I worked on, I was a camera PA on a, the Raconteurs, the White Stripe, or Jack White's Break-Off project. It was one of their first videos directed by Jim Jarmusch, and it was just shot on Super 8, at this old farmhouse. And that was probably one of the funnest things, where it was one of my first jobs where I was working with filmmakers. These weren't just a music video director or a commercial director, but these were like, the DP, Chris Doyle, who's done, amazing films, a laundry list of amazing films. So working with those guys and just seeing them have fun and goofing off and making this video, and it was a one-day shoot, but that was really enlightening to me, to be like, that's my goal, is to be, however old, but still just goofing off and having fun. And,
Bottom line, why we're doing this, it is so much fun. At the end of the day, your head hits the pillow after doing a shoot or after doing a commercial. It's just so much fun. It's almost addictive in a sense, because being an artist and being able to create, that is what it's all about.
What's happening next summer?
Well, the film I did in Idaho, the producer is the one that lives in Idaho, and me and him have formed a really good relationship, and he has got another movie, another project kind of underway, which is another independent Western to be taking place in Idaho. But I flew up there in December to just kind of hang out with him and catch up with him. I hadn't seen him in a few months, and he asked me to direct it. So it's going to be a feature film, you know, with a good enough budget to be a real film. And he asked me to direct it, so I'm super excited, and that's where I want to kind of funnel all my creative energy from now till then, as far, you know, and put anything on my own aside and really kind of focus on and getting that.
Where can people see you? Do you have a website that they can go to, or any clips that they can look at?
Not really. I've had
cool.
plans for a website for months now, and I honestly haven't had the time to build it.
So I'll do it for you. Anybody who would like to see more of David Poag, just stay here at www.firepitfriday.com. We will post things up on Fire Pit Friday in regard to David to kind of keep up with him. David, if you were to work with anybody in Hollywood right now, can you think of anybody in Hollywood that you would like to work with? If you had your choice right now, who would you like to work with? And you can, we can go directors or actors, but there's got to be somebody that you admire, somebody who you would like to work with.
In Hollywood, there's a lot of, people I admire. I should have thought about that. I'm bad at coming up with
that.
Yeah, let's see here.
That's okay. We have the power of edit.
I do love the Coen brothers. You know, everybody does, but I love all of their films. I love P.T. Anderson. Really admire his work. I love. I don't know. A lot of them are dead. A lot of them are already dead.
That'd be hard to work with them.
Yeah, it'd be hard to work with them.
What about
David, I want to say thank you so much for coming to the Fire Pit tonight. Thank you for watching Fire Pit Friday, and tune in this summer because we're going to have a lot more filmmakers, a lot more people who are in the film industry in Nashville, Tennessee, and Ryan Hamblin, David Poag, Tori Martin, Cynthia Nielsen. You guys are the best, and I love you very much. Fire Pit Friday. See you next week.